ahead of the curve here this morning. Brad, hi. How are you this morning?
Hey guys, you'll have to settle for me without all the legal expertise of Royal, but I can
No,
get
no,
into
no,
whatever you
no.
like here.
Hey, I'll take anybody who even thinks they know what they're talking about when it comes to this whole thing. KellyAnne Conway on national television defending the president's Twitter attack over Nord's. First of all, can we get this guy to stop going on Twitter? That's first of all. That ain't
No,
gonna
the
happen.
answer is no, but go ahead.
Okay, all right, fine. We'll just move past that point then. But how about this business that she said go buy Ivanka's stuff? I mean,
Well,
have you ever heard of anything like that in your entire life?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I've heard it before from people like the President of the United States, right? I mean, we haven't heard it this overtly from Donald Trump since he was inaugurated. But of course, there have been these sort of gray areas, these questions. At one point when he was president-elect, he explicitly said in a tweet, "Buy LL Bean," and people were saying, well, could he get away with that if he were the president? And people said yes, because a president can't have conflicts of interest under the law, so it's okay. And that kind of attitude, a lot of people are saying, especially on the Democratic side, is sort of bled into the rest of the White House. This feeling of we are not subject necessarily to sort of the normal course of government ethics that you've seen. Now, the other side of this argument, of course, is just sort of a throwaway comment. She was kind of trying to deflect attention from Ivanka Trump, and that's all well and good, but the law certainly doesn't see it that way, and every legal expert we've spoken to has said that she was in clear violation of the rules here.
Okay, so the White House is saying that she has been counseled over the matter. So what does that mean?
Yeah,
They're
that's
just
a great
kind of like a little
question.
slap on the hand, or?
Well, yeah, it sounds like she's been told, don't say that again. However, we are hearing this morning that President Trump, these are sources from inside the White House that say President Trump actually did not appreciate that phrase when Sean Spicer said she's been counseled, because it sounded like he was giving her sort of this stern talking to, when in fact KellyAnne Conway set out and said the president was super supportive of me. He's behind me 100%. We've been told that President Trump really saw this as her sticking up for him. So if you're looking for a big reprimand, a big public rebuke from the president, I would not expect it. However, Jason Chaffetz, he's the House Congressional Chairman on the Oversight Committee. He's a Republican from Utah. He says this is unacceptable. He sent a letter to the White House and to the outside Office of Government Ethics asking for some kind of disciplinary action here.
Kelly Jackson and I were talking earlier on and off the air about this whole situation that we're dealing with an Oval Office that is occupied by a person who's a businessman first and not a politician, and that there's a really steep learning curve here.
Well, and yeah, there's different things that you've been allowed to say your entire life, and that frankly have gotten you ahead. This, Donald Trump in New York is regarded not just as sort of a businessman, but also as this tabloid personality, right? This media mogul, just as much as anything. And he's made his living off of being outspoken and not playing by conventional rules. However, when those rules are set in black and white on government letterhead, it sort of becomes a different story, especially for your staff. If you're interested in protecting people like KellyAnne Conway, you want for their own sake not to be going off and saying things like this and not seeing it as all government witch hunt. Again, it's Republicans who are also saying these comments are just not okay in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and I think it's just troubling that someone who is a White House staffer did not know the difference, did not know that they shouldn't do something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I imagine that she might have gone off the air and said and thought either that was fun, or she might have thought, I shouldn't have said that. However, it goes back to what critics, including an outside group, the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, they filed an official complaint asking for disciplinary action. They said this is part of a larger pattern, again, of Donald Trump and the people around him thinking that they're immune from ethics rules and thinking it is totally okay to kind of prop up the businesses surrounding the Trump family. That is not going to go away. In fact, Jason Chaffetz, even after he had these harsh words for the White House, he went home to a town hall in Utah and had 1,000 people in there shouting at him, telling him, do your job as Oversight Committee chairman. They were saying you should be going after the president, not just his senior advisors.
So do you think that what's going to happen here is that the administration is going to finally come to terms with they're not running a business, they're running a government, or being part of a government, part of the three legs of government, and that they're going to have to change the way they address the public and do things?
I don't know. And it's because there are a few different personalities at play here in the White House. I mean, first of all, it goes back to this classic sort of standoff between people like Steve Bannon, who sees himself as an outsider, who navigated Donald Trump to the presidency by really saying, go for it. People want someone who speaks differently, who speaks their mind. And then you have people like Reince Priebus, who is chief of staff, who is well versed in the ways of Washington, certainly knows the rules, and is constantly, it sounds like, telling the president to dial himself back a bit. And in the center of all that, of course, is the president himself, who we have seen him in the eyes of many, overstep several times over the last 2 years. And I'm trying to think of how many sort of apologies or going back on his word, or saying I was wrong. I'm trying to count the number of times he said I was wrong, and I'm coming up blank right now. So I don't know if we're going to see a big change in the near future.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Maybe
and it's up to
nothing,
the staff, of course,
maybe
as well, so
something.
we'll see what they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Brad Milkey from ABC. Always great to have you with us.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Have a